Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Three news stories for you. First one is from the US, where IMF and Ethiopian government delegation are in talks. Talks are mainly focusing on currency devaluation, liberalization. Other points are being discussed too. IMF wants Ethiopian birr to be devalued. What is happening there? What is Ethiopia offering to the IMF and what are IMF's demands? We have details for you. Secondly, Somaliland, where at last date for election has been announced. Delayed election, delayed by 2 years, going to be held now, it seems. Thirdly, Fano fighters from Shoa have released a video showing dozens of ENDF soldiers who have been taken prisoner by these Fano fighters. The Shoa Fano commander has also been seen addressing these ENDF POWs. Let's start from the US views, where we know that Ahmad Shide is leading a senior Ethiopian delegation visiting the US, holding meetings with IMF and World Bank officials. As I said in some previous videos, that IMF is demanding Ethiopian currency devaluation. How much depreciation is being demanded by the IMF? What is Ethiopia offering? We have received some information from the US through some people who have been part of these meetings, which we want to share with you. Talks still ongoing. By the way, yesterday, an IMF official said that there were still differences between Ethiopia and IMF, but he said that he was cautiously optimistic about the outcome of these ongoing engagements in the US. So, what is IMF demanding? How much currency devaluation does it want? The official birr exchange rate is around 57 birr per dollar, but in black market, its rate is around 117 birr per dollar. How much devaluation Ethiopia is offering? Well, what we have learned is that Ethiopia is saying that it will devalue birr gradually, first of all. It cannot devalue birr 50% or 60% at the same time. Why at once? Why? Because if birr is devalued by 50-60% at once, it would lead to huge upsurge in the prices of commodities. Inflation will go up, people will suffer. So reportedly, Ethiopia is offering to devalue birr to 65 per dollar. And Ethiopia says that gradually it will devalue it to around 75, from 57 to 65 and then 75 birr per dollar. That would be around 30-35% devaluation. But IMF wants more devaluation, and at once it does not want gradual devaluation. Reportedly, IMF wants birr to be around 92 birr per dollar. 60% devaluation is being demanded by the IMF in these talks. And not gradual, but IMF wants the devaluation at once. So this is what the two sides are in talks about. This is one of the main obstacles which the two sides will have to cross to reach an agreement. Let's see. It's too early to say. IMF says it's cautiously optimistic. Ethiopian government is also saying that it is making progress, but let's see how much the birr is going to be devalued. By the way, Ethiopia is hoping to get around 3 billion US dollar in loans, grants, financing from the World Bank. It is hoping to get around 3 billion US dollars from the IMF in the form of hard cash. And it is hoping to get a loan payment a suspension of around 3 billion too, which it has already uh, got from the Paris Club members, China too. But even that loan payment suspension is conditional. Ethiopia must reach an agreement with the IMF by the end of June 2024 to keep that concession intact. So that is why this session of talks between the IMF and Ethiopian government is very significant. It seems that the two sides will reach an agreement. They'll agree to devalue by around 30 to 40%. Let's see what happens there. Secondly, the Somaliland self-declared country. Internationally, it's part of Somalia. Somalia says Somaliland is its part, but Somaliland has been operating independently for several decades now. Somaliland takes pride in being a beacon of democracy in this region. Elections are held here. Peaceful transition of power has been seen in Somaliland, but we know that presidential election has been delayed in Somaliland. Now, the Election Commission of Somaliland has announced a date for the holding of election, delayed by 2 years. The election will be held in November, on the 13th of November. Musi Bayabdi will defend his seat, and Abdirrahman and others, other politicians, they will try to take power. Let's see what happens. So, if election is due to be held in November, before that, Musi Bayabdi's government will try to have something to launch campaign for the election. It would like the MOU to be implemented. If MOU is implemented, if Somaliland gets shares in Ethiopian airlines, if Ethiopia starts using Berbera port, Ethiopia is already using Berbera port, but if it diverts its imports, exports significantly from Djibouti to Berbera, it would help Musi Bayabdi a lot in his election campaign. That is why we could see some progress in coming months about the implementation of the MOU. On the other hand, if Ethiopia withdraws from the MOU, it would hurt Musi Bayabdi's election campaign. So let's see what happens. Coming months are significant for Ethiopia-Somaliland relations. We heard yesterday, on Thursday, we heard from Ethiopian Foreign Ministry spokesperson. He said that Ethiopia was committed to MOU with Somaliland. Then yesterday, we heard from another Ethiopian government official. He said that the reaction from Somalia was just a storm in the teacup, and it will settle down, and Ethiopia will implement the MOU with Somaliland. Ethiopia is committed to the MOU with Somaliland. So let's see. Lastly, viewers, the Fano fighters have shown dozens of ENDF soldiers who have been taken prisoner in Shoa, it seems. Two Shoa Fano commanders have been seen talking to these ENDF soldiers. Mekatao is senior most Shoa Fano commander. Ababe Mulato is the spokesperson of Shoa Fano. Both were seen together yesterday talking to some ENDF soldiers. The ENDF soldiers were taken prisoner by Shoa Fano fighters, and they were brought to the camp where the commanders were, and commanders talked to these ENDF members. Clip is in circulation in social media. Birhanu Jula's soldiers are definitely being taken prisoner by Fano fighters by Ola too. Ola also released a video yesterday showing Around 20 to 30 ENDF soldiers taken prisoner by them, and now it's Fano's turn. Are these soldiers released? Does the Ethiopian military do anything to secure the release of their soldiers, or they just left at the mercy of armed groups? Armed groups sometimes release them. Does any prisoner exchange happen? We don't know. Generally, Ola and Fano don't reveal what they do to these ENDF members. We knew what Tigray did, that Tigray released ENDF soldiers, but the two groups, Ola and Fano, they don't publicly state what they do. Do they release ENDF members? Do they release them in return for something? Or do they have to release them? Watch the video showing ENDF soldiers taken prisoner by Fano. Fano commander Mikitao can be seen addressing them. Thank you for watching.